to week number 3. I want to break down some supplementation just simply because it's something that a lot of people put a lot of attention on, and obviously supplements have gotten a lot better over the last 20, 30 years, or at least from what I've noticed in my lifespan. So I want to discuss some of the supplements that I find crucial, supplements that I find helpful, and just some of the supplements that I take on a daily basis just because I know they're probably ideal for me to take given the amount of exercise that I do, the lifestyle that I want to have, and some of the research and information that I have learned over the years that can be helpful. And right now I am on the way to the gym for an upper body workout, and that's the only thing on the schedule today. It is a complete rest day from running. Tomorrow will be a little bit of a speed run, but my legs are a little tender today. Trained legs yesterday, but let's go hit upper body and we'll explain today's supplement intake. Right now it is 7:30 a.m. I've been up since about 5:15-ish. I spend the first couple hours of my day showering, a little bit of prayer, and of course scrolling on my phone to check notifications and messages, and then I hit my laptop and answer client messages and check on the Facebook group and things like that. And I also go live for them at 7 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I just went live for my clients, answering some questions, and now I'm about to head to the gym. So what we start off with this morning is some electrolytes as well as some pump products. So I like to use PE Science High Volume, and the reason why I use this pre-workout is because it's mostly just focused on blood flow. It's focused on getting a pump, and I like that there's no caffeine because I already have a coffee first thing in the morning. Like, that's the first thing I do when I wake up is make a coffee in my Nespresso machine, or sometimes I'll do like a Keurig pod. I also have a French press, but this morning I did Nespresso, and because I'm getting a little bit of caffeine with that coffee that I kind of drink over the span of the last 2 hours, I don't really want to have a high dose of caffeine that usually comes with pre-workouts. The only time I'll have a pre-workout that has caffeine in it is if it's middle of the day. If I'm training middle of the day, then I'll have something with high caffeine, pushing off any high doses of caffeine till middle of the day, right? No later than 4 p.m. Because once you start getting past that 4 p.m. mark, you're bound to ruin some of your sleep that you could have that night. And of course, we don't want our supplementation, if you're using caffeine for a supplementation purposes, which everyone pretty much would be, your supplementation routine is ruining your sleep. So try not to get any caffeine roughly 6 to 8 hours before you go to bed. Try to just keep your caffeine content in the early parts of the day, and you should be fine. And I think learning to exercise and learning to work out without any caffeine is a great skill to have, just because when I think about like long distance running, there's a lot of endurance involved, and I want to be able to have that endurance without feeling like I need to have caffeine in my system. You might be thinking, well, why do you have a coffee first thing when you wake up? Honestly, I do have decaf, and I usually can be okay with that because I'm so used to just the smell and the taste and everything about it. It brings joy to my morning. I don't really find it gives me a huge boost. It probably does. I'd have to go a day without it to notice, but anyway, that's my little morning talk. So I'll see you guys in the next clip. All right, so now we're just doing a little bit of a physique check, checking out the pump. We hit a little bit of everything today, more arm focus, but still hitting everything. But at this point, it is 9:30. So now we're gonna go home, eat breakfast, and I'll show you guys sort of the multivitamin complex that I use. So I'll see you guys at home. All right, guys, so here are these supplements that I have been taking every morning for, I want to say, well over a year now. My supplement routine hasn't always been the same since I started taking supplements. I've rotated a lot of things in, took a lot of things out over the years, and also plan on adding some more stuff in and taking stuff out, here in the future as well, which I'll explain. So basically what I take with my breakfast every single morning is we've got my greens, which I also combine my creatine in here. I like to take my creatine in the morning, and lately it kind of works out that it's post-workout. So I've been working out, taking my greens and my creatine with my breakfast that I'm about to eat. Also, the greens that I use are TC Nutrition Essential Greens. Now, this isn't like my go-to brand, but I'm not particularly sold on any specific brand of greens, right? I don't necessarily know 100% for sure in my mind what makes a greens powder better than another greens powder. I just like to take brands that I know I've used other products that they have, such as protein, pre-workouts, creatine, that I liked. So I'm like, if those products are great, then maybe their greens are also great as well. So Essential Greens is what I'm using right now, and it is Citrus Twist. So I think the main thing that you can look for in a greens is look at like the variety of ingredients that they have and the sources of where the ingredients are coming from, and as well as the taste, right? Because obviously when greens first started, they didn't taste that great. And the creatine that I use is just your basic All-Max creatine. Yeah, I've tried different creatines in the past. I'm not stuck on one. This one's probably been the one I've used the most because I think it's, cost effective. And, to be honest, I don't necessarily know what makes a creatine powder, if it's just creatine itself, what makes it better than other creatines. And this is creatine monohydrate, which is like the base level creatine that gets the job done. And I just take 5 grams every day. Another supplement that's very important, we've got our vitamin D3. So I take 5,000 IUs per day. So there's 5 of these little tablets that I take. I could use a little more. I might not need 5,000 either. So for me to go and say 5,000 is exactly what I need is, not really that accurate, right? I just take sort of 5,000 to just play it safe, because obviously here in the winter, I'm not outside all that much. I've been outside more the last 2 weeks than I have since probably October, which is kind of sad. So I like to make sure that my vitamin D intake, is just like on a daily basis. I'm getting some in. Yeah, I've experimented with higher doses, lower doses, and honestly, I don't feel a difference. Even when I don't take vitamin D, I don't really notice anything. I just know that there's, heavy research that most people aren't getting enough, and obviously having sufficient levels of vitamin D are good for hormonal support. Another supplement I like to take in the morning is magnesium. Now these are 250 milligrams per capsule, so I'll take one of these in the morning, and I'll take another one later on. Magnesium really helps with sort of the eccentric portion of a rep, so the relaxation of a muscle. So that's why I like to take magnesium, as well as, there's hundreds of other things that magnesium plays a role in. And again, it's hard to get from diet alone. Now I've also got my omegas, which comes from ATP Lab. Now I just recently switched to ATP Lab. Before I was getting the same brand as my vitamin D3, which is Nature's Bounty, which you just get at the grocery store. But I tried ATP Lab's electrolytes. I've tried their pump-based pre-workout, and I like it. It seems like a reputable brand, and I just noticed that they had some omega-3s, so I decided to give those omega-3s a go as well. So again, it's not like I'm stuck on a certain brand. I don't know why really anybody would unless you're being paid to. I would like to see how people justify, a certain brand of creatine or a certain brand of omegas, unless it's paired with other things. That's what could make a product better. But yeah, I don't know. That is the morning supplements routine. Nothing super fancy. The only thing I'm thinking about adding in is just getting a general multivitamin, which I used to take for years. And then, you know, you come across some information on the internet where you're like, you know, talking about how multivitamins don't really do anything. If you eat a well-balanced diet, you don't really need to take the multivitamin, which I kind of believe. You know, I don't think you can get everything that you need. Here's the thing about supplements. I really do think that, actually we'll have this talk later. All right, let's eat breakfast. All right, guys, it's roughly about 2:30, and I'm just grabbing my midday protein shake. Now, I kind of like to call this the protein safety buffer. So basically what I do is I just take a small glass and fill it with a bit of water, and then I'll take 2 scoops of this here clear whey protein, and we've got passion fruit flavor. We're doing 2 scoops, which gives me 200 calories and 42 grams of protein. And the way that we do this is with our little whisk here. I didn't realize my tap was still hot from when I washed my hands earlier. So now I've got a little bit of a hot protein shake to drink here, but I don't really sip on this or enjoy it by any means. I mean, I enjoy it, but like I don't like, you know, relax and sip on it like it's a margarita. I just chug it, 40 grams of protein down the hatch. Booyah. The only reason I also do that as well is because sometimes in the afternoon, I just have to grab like quick snacks and stuff because I do train one-on-one with clients, usually in the middle of the day. So I don't have time to like eat a big meal or like make a big meal. So I usually just like to have a couple scoops of protein, and then I'll also have, you know, I'll have like a quick bowl of oats, or I'll take like a banana or even a protein bar, something like that, just to fill me up. And then my supper at night is usually like a pretty decent sized meal. And I find getting that 40 grams in helps me ensure that I know I'm getting lots of protein, because, you know, I make sure that I'm getting lots of protein in all of my other meals. So that's why I call it the protein buffer, because there's not a lot of snacks that you can find out there that are gonna give you, you know, that are gonna give you that much protein that fast. It has been a couple days since the last clip that you just seen. I basically spent the last 3 days visiting my girlfriend, who lives about 4.5 hours away. So I didn't really get to do any filming. You know, I didn't really want to at all, to be honest. I didn't even actually go on my phone at all yesterday, which is a huge win. It actually feels really good. I just decided I'm not gonna post anything on social media. I'm not gonna scroll. Just gonna take the entire day to kind of just focus on where I'm at, you know? Time with my girlfriend, whatever. But anyways, I'm on the drive back right now. It is 4:13 p.m. and I have a 15K run to do on the schedule. Plus, I have to do it on a treadmill tonight because we had a big storm over the weekend. As you can see, it is not very warm, and we have a full, fresh bed of snow on the ground after we already just got rid of all of our snow. So, all right, guys. So week 3 is officially finished. I just finished up my 15-kilometer run, which is the longest run of this running progression so far, and it's my longest run of the week. And I'm recording on my phone right now. I didn't bring my camera because I didn't expect to record anything. I kind of had an off weekend a little bit, and I'm back home now, but nutrition was just off, and I didn't really get to film, you know, any more of my supplementation videos that I hope to be. Essentially, I wanted this video to be done by now. You know, I wanted to show you guys my full supplementation, but because my routine was off, my supplementation was off, so I didn't get to show you guys everything. But I wanted to kind of give you guys this little moment of clarity, this post-run clarity that you get. You know, I wasn't really feeling that great going into the run after a long drive and a bad weekend of nutrition, just sort of. And when I say bad weekend, it was like, you know, I still took my protein powder down and my morning supplements, but, you know, I wasn't able to, like, essentially I didn't know where my calories were at, where my protein was at. So that kind of just threw me off mentally. You know, in the middle of this run, I just kind of worked out all of my issues that I had with how the weekend went. Like, I worked everything out and got myself back to square one. And by the time I was done the run,
I'm just like back to being motivated, and I kind of like hit the reset button in that run. And I feel like running is like one of the few forms of fitness where you get that sort of clarity, because it's just and in this case it was on the treadmill, so it was just me and the treadmill and my headphones, and you have to kind of get in your own head to like finish those long runs. Getting to the point where I'm doing 15 kilometers now, it took me about an hour and 17 minutes to do 15 kilometers. So that's a long time of just straight running, especially on a treadmill, just being in one spot. So you have a lot of time to think. So I highly recommend getting into running if it's not something that you're used to. But anyway, I got to go home and I got to get some food into me, and I'm going to send it to bed early to kind of just signify that reset button. So I'll see you in the next clip.
All right, guys, it is time for me to wrap up the day's worth of supplements, and I am about to go get my run in to finish off my day today. And today we're just doing a quick speed/tempo run. Technically, I don't take any supplements before my run, right? So if you saw my last video, I basically explained why I'm running in the evening versus in the morning, so you can go check that out. Basically, I'm doing my lifts in the morning because I train better fasted with lifting than I do with my running, right? So by the time I get to my run, right now it is 6 p.m. or 6:15 p.m. I've had, 2 full meals and some snacks throughout the day. So I'm all carbed up. I've got lots of water in me. I'm well hydrated. I'm ready to go for my run. I don't really feel like I need to have any sort of a carb supplement or any sort of electrolyte supplement, or I don't need caffeine. It's too late in the day. I'm totally fine. I'm gonna run like I am on the best supplements in the world. You always have to remember that there's like a cost to effectiveness ratio. Like, how much money are you spending on all the supplements that you're taking, and how much is that actually giving you in return, right? You could be just blowing a lot of money on supplements and not making a huge difference. But when I come back from my run, I will eat my last meal of the day. That is when I take my last supplements of the day, which is only 2 different things. So again, we're taking another magnesium tablet. It's just to help, again, relax the muscles and get ready for bed, essentially. Now we've also got some ashwagandha. There we go. So the ashwagandha, this is about 590 milligrams per capsule, right? So I take 1 capsule a day. Just based on the research that I've done, I think 600 milligrams is around the recommended dose. And I think they actually recommend it to split it up. So like 300 and 300, morning and night. I get these from a local supplement store. That gives me a little bit of a discount, Herx Nutrition. But yeah, ashwagandha has lots of benefits in terms of just dealing with stress, keeping yourself calm. Because one thing that I've actually noticed with the ashwagandha is that I don't really feel like a really big happiness high or like a depressive low. It's almost like no matter what happens to your day, it's sort of like you're just sort of like content. You're like in the middle. It's also been known to help increase testosterone. I'm not exactly sure how proven that is, or how much testosterone it would increase. But yeah, those are mostly just to help my brain, help me wind down to get into a better sleep. Ashwagandha for the mind, magnesium for the body. Like I said about the cost to effectiveness ratio, it's really up to you whether you want to invest into a bunch of supplements or not. One of the things I like to say is, like, if you were to gain 15 pounds of muscle, I would say if you had like the best, a full lineup of like supplements, I would say they would have helped out maybe 2-3% of that total 15 pounds that you gained of pure muscle. Like, the supplements are only going to help you so much, right? Because they're not going to fill in a lot of gaps in terms of you not training hard, or you not being consistent, or your diet being completely trash. There's no amount of supplements that you can take that's going to replace a really good diet. So keep that in mind. Like, when I was younger, I used to think that I was missing out on a lot of gains by not taking even just protein powder. When other of my friends were taking protein powder and I couldn't afford it, I just automatically thought, oh man, they're gonna get more gains, right? So obviously we know that that's not the case, especially with protein powder, because we can get it from somewhere else. Kind of like I talked about earlier with the protein powder. It's like a safety net. It allows you to make sure that there are no gaps in your diet. We want to try to maximize and optimize everything if possible, right? So if you have the money for it, do the research on your own. Even if you see people on YouTube talking about how things have helped them and talking about research that they found, you still want to kind of go and just kind of check that to see what you can find for yourself and make the executive decision to be like, all right, I'm going to start implementing, magnesium into my supplement lineup, or I'm going to start making sure I get whey protein in, sometime through the day because it's a high quality source of protein, But at the end of the day, I don't think that supplements are an absolute must for you to be an absolute beast, right? Both physically looking like a beast and performing like a beast. You can still do that just by training hard, being consistent, getting good sleep, staying hydrated, and having a well-balanced diet with an assortment of animal and plant-based products, right? That's my spiel for this video. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. Have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.